As you probably noticed over the last few months, we've been raving about stabilised baits. Now, to the extent that with all the testing we've done so far, a whole range of baits now are stabilised. So we've got Keith along with us today to explain in layman's terms, hopefully, what a stabilised bait is and why it is so far superior to anything else that we believe we can put together. So Keith, your first job was looking at the Boilie range. Straight away you said, I want to stabilise them. Tell us a bit about stabilised baits.
Well, the whole process is originated in the pet food industry, as I've explained in the past. And we know typically most cats and dogs are pretty sort of, they can be very fickle. And the other important thing was, you know, that the normal process of making shelf life bait means that the bait is treated with high levels of humectants, in other words drying agents. Then the bait is further dried for, in some cases, 2 or 3 days. So that effectively you've got a dry bait
it's becoming quite hard.
It's very hard in some cases, you know, and this is what, you know, we said about, this is one of the reasons we want to make the 2T into a stabilised bait softer. It becomes more attractive. So the whole process of stabilisation, which is probably 10-11 years old now, it's only recently gone into Boilie production, as you know, and you end up with a bait that is, in essence, is identical to a freezer bait.
Okay.
And that was the whole thing.
Because there's always been this thing about lads that use ready-mades and lads that use freezers. I mean, we've noticed it in the shop over the last sort of 6 or 7 years that sales of ready-mades now are just far in excess, to a ridiculous extent, against freezer bait.
I think, you know, I think one of the reasons we go back to this convenience issue, people are busy, you know, you can have 50 kilos of stabilised bait without taking 50 kilos of space up in a freezer. Not everybody's got a freezer space. I mean, again, you know, Jed, rather like myself, before I started investigating the stabiliser process with my son David, we were ardent freezer users. Absolutely, you know, even when we were using enzymes and things like that, which are very pH, temperature tolerant issues. And when Jed, I said to Jed, I said, well, have you ever tried, you know, what do you think?
Yeah, I've never really used them before, you know. It's just since I could stand up, I was rolling freezer bait with my dad. That's how I sort of come into the bait and learnt that over the years I generally caught more on fresh frozen baits, you know, as regarding to shelf life sort of thing. But now, being stabilised, I don't use anything else. I don't see the point of wasting space in the freezer and stuff like that, space at home, you know, and trying to store it properly, look after it when it's out of the freezer, all this, when you can use a stabilised bait that's just as good.
I mean, it is the perfect scenario now, though, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
You've got a bait which is very soft, which means the water can penetrate in easier, which means those flavours and all the taste within that bait can come out far easier, which is far more attractive to a carp coming round. They then go to eat it. It's very soft. It's very digestible. I think it just ticks. But you haven't, as you said, got to have that freezer, so you can take them out, bring them back, take them out, bring them back. Without, I mean, I know using freezer baits in the past, I take them out, and what I didn't use I take back and put in the freezer, but they always went to one side, and I was always a little bit, I leave it, and I ended up with a huge pile of frozen ones that had been out for a day.
With these, I'll take a bag, open it, I'll use what I need out of the bag, zip it up again, and that's fine. The great thing about it is, like you said, we've got this solubility factor of the attractors coming, but because of the process, it still, that bait, once it's out there and everything's leaking out, it still has a taste and smell profile. It doesn't just go bland. That is one thing that people need to be aware of. And it breaks down. It breaks down in water, and it goes nice and soft. I mean, you know, again, look. I mean, that is in essence, that's not out of free, you know, that is stabilised bait.
You'd never know the difference.
You wouldn't.
No.
I'd defy anybody, if I put these in a frozen state, out of the freezer, obviously, defrosted, stabilised alongside them, colour, texture, everything exactly the same. Fish catching capability, exactly the same. So why? Save on electricity, buy a bit more bait, catch a few more fish. Hey, it's no brainer, isn't it?
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you. I think it is a no-brainer. With the new range of these ones, they taste fantastic. They're soft, they break down, the carp love them, and I mean, as Jed's proved, I mean, you catch far more fish using a softer bait than you do a hard one.
100%. You know. Yeah. As long as you bear in mind, if you've got silvers in the lake, like roach and stuff, taken away, just got to be a bit mindful of that. But it also means your bait's more attractive. Yeah. That's what you want. And more attractive bait. You know, so there's ways around. You know. Sort of that.
Well, we've actually proven, haven't we, that hard baits are very, very slow to get bites.
100%.
You know, because everything's locked up inside.
So there you go. That's our stabilised bait range. It's available now on the shelves. We think you'd be foolish not to use it.